Are you playing video games again?
What?
Why don't you do something productive for a change?
Like what?
Let us show you!
Okay, so one of the problems that we kind of encountered along our journey into art and engineering design wonderfulness was we had a problem with attendance. So one of the techniques that we used here was right asking. Instead of asking why aren't people showing up, we decided to ask what can we do in meetings to help raise attendance. And one of the things that we did was we implemented an attendance sheet. We also started mini design projects, which we thought would motivate more people to come to meetings. And we also started having food. So, college students, they love their food. And that actually raised attendance quite substantially. So, yeah.
So, in dealing with our feedback from iCheckpoint, we decided to label our feedback into two different categories. So the first category had to do with issues relating to our actual presentation and presentation skills. And then our other category had to do just with things we can do with iFoundry as a whole, what we can do more of, what we can do less of, what we can change. And it was a lot easier to tackle those subjects when they are split up into categories like that. And we feel we made some good improvements based on the feedback by labeling.
Alright, so modeling. A model is anything that you use to simplify a problem or to look at a problem and see how you can solve it. And so in our I team, we're working on small design projects, and one of those is to try and make a better bike basket. We found one of the problems with the bike basket is that it's just too big, and we want to make it smaller. So we thought, how can we make a box that collapses? And so we looked to origami as a model for a collapsible box. So a box that can start out thin and expand to hold something. And so we found that origami is, in this case, a great model for how we can build a box that does the same thing, stays small and opens up when we need it to.
Decomposing. We use decomposing in our connection with our ICOA, Keith Besserud at SOM, in order to get information from him about using the things we're learning in engineering here at U of I, using them in a real world set. So we broke down this problem into three main steps. Establishing an initial connection, planning a trip to SOM, and actually executing that trip so that we would be able to get that information. So the first thing we did was the establishing connection. First we used email and talked to Keith this way, and then set up a teleconference and were able to talk to him about our interests and his interests and how they coincided, and started to plan, or at least set up a date for the trip. Then actually planning the trip, we had to decompose that. We needed to worry about the date, we needed to know who was going, we also needed to look at transportation, overall costs, etc. And we addressed each of those problems separately using decomposing. Then actually taking the trip, we had to worry about scheduling and where we needed to go and where we needed to be, and we looked at each of those things separately. So using decomposing, we were able to take this large problem of how to get the information about working in the world of work from Keith Besserud at SOM. We decomposed that problem into a series of smaller problems which made it much more easier to analyze, look at, and eventually solve.
Measuring. One thing that we tried to measure in our AED team is measure our progress through looking at other teams and seeing what they've done and compared to what we have done and say, you know what, we should be like the other teams. But after the eye checkpoint and looking at that, we realized that that wasn't a good unit of measure because they were doing so much different stuff and their team is different than ours. They're not working on the same stuff. So we thought that it'd probably be better if we didn't look at the other teams as a measurement of ourselves, but look to ourselves and see, are we having a good experience? Are we learning things? Are we having fun? Are we enjoying engineering? Because if we're not doing that, then it just won't work out. So we decided to measure our success through ourselves rather than other teams.
Alright, so visualizing. Mostly what we do in our art and engineering design I-team is we use the Dan Rowe method for solving problems, which is basically drawing out a problem or drawing out a diagram of a problem. For example, when we were first mapping out our presentation for iCheckpoint, we started out with a kind of a flow chart of what we wanted to do and kind of different webs. And even though that those technically aren't pictures, they have kind of a visual idea behind them. And we use that process a lot through other events too. And that's how we use visualizing.
I'm sure everyone has fond memories of those days in high school when you would be assigned a group project. And it would always get so close to the deadline, you'd have no idea how to contact your group members, and you'd end up doing most of the work, turning it in, and then they'd get to write your grade. Here at iFoundry, we decided we were tired of this paradigm, and we decided to take matters into our own hands. So far, we've been using Facebook, email, cell phone texting, LinkedIn, YouTube, AIM, Skype, and just a whole mess of other methods of communication in order to make more effective use of our time and to get stuff done.
You know what I enjoy? I enjoy learning. It's so much fun. I mean, you go to class, you sit in lecture, it's a little boring a little bit, but I just love to learn new stuff and fill my brain with facts that I'll use in the future and, talk to people about, integrals from A to B, of f of x dx. So much fun. Oh, it's great stuff. And the whole learning thing, and with a pencil and a notebook, taking notes. Learning is just a great time. It's great, it's fun, it's awesome.
A lot of people have passions. My passion is engineering. I'm here to talk to you about the joys of engineering. I personally love to build things. That's something I do. One said object, spud guns. We have a very artistic diagram right here of what a spud gun is. I'm sure many of you from this diagram right here don't know what a spud gun is. It bangs and thumps stuff. That's not actually right. What we have here is a device built out of just plastic fittings you can find at any local hardware store. You put all the pieces together. What you have here is you have a chamber. It's perfectly sealed off by this valve here. This is a barrel where you put your projectile in. This right here, which may look like a box, is actually just a valve that you can find in any bike tire. So you install this bike tire valve into this chamber and you fill this chamber up with air, as noted by that very poorly drawn pressure gauge. And by filling this with air, pressure builds within the chamber. Once you reach an optimal pressure, one of your choosing, you release this valve right here. And in doing so, the pressure itself in the chamber wants to equalize. What's the best way to do this? Shoot all the air out of the barrel and what else is in the barrel out at a high velocity, making it pump whatever you're shooting. Alright, so for this presentation, let's talk about the joys of community. But instead, I'm just going to show you a community. This is Jeremy. What did we do? Was the I Found You overnight trip?
Yep.
He was in our team. We had the tight ropes course.
Mm-hmm.
Met him through that. We talked about the campfire. He and I are both drummers. We bond on that
We
experience.
did. Great bonding
This
experience.
is Brent. We're going to bring Brent into this. Brent's spitting that Diet Coke over there, so I can't have it either. Such a good friend. I love looking at me, man.
Hey guys, what's going on?
This is Matt. Another Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
There's another Matt at the camera right there.
Hi, Matt.
Wants to wave to the camera.
I waved to myself.
You like trains, right?
Yes, I do.
I learned
Yes,
this
I do.
about Matt. It's pretty cool. What was it, the train thing? Oh, this is Vince, man. What is Vince?
That's not working.
This is everyone right here, and this is Vince. Right, Vince?
That can be where you do like a sketchy cut.
We're friends, right?
Yeah, sketch. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we're friends. We're in the same group actually, with me, you, and Matt, and Claire and Pete, other people who aren't here.
No.
Worked on stuff together, had some good times. I don't know what's going on above my head. I'll just wait for the video to come out. Just wait for the video to come out.
God.
Group hug!
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Wait, let me in here, guys. Let me in here. Let me in here.
Oh,
Hey,
get in here.
There we go. You know, that seemed like a lot of fun. Maybe we should join AED.
After I beat you. You know that guy in the middle with the gray shirt?
Yeah.
He was kind of a weirdo. He's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
Hey kid!